Peace family, I'm back again, and in this video I intend to explain to you that what's going on everywhere has got nothing to do with no immigrant crisis. You know what I'm saying? As a lot of these dudes that are still asleep tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because what's happening in Spain is what's happening everywhere. It's just a sketch of what the plan was from the beginning. They had these international investors coming in, and they ruined their economy. You know what I'm saying? Because now dudes that like come from America, come from Canada, come from, I don't know, anywhere, China, anywhere they can come. And Spain was a cheap, Spain, Portugal, the whole Europe basically are cheap countries to them. They can go there, they can create, they look for opportunities and they create, and the prices move up because they can afford, and people are greedy. They start charging them the apartments, the charge, the charge is double, triple, quadruple, and before you know it, no Spanish can afford a house. Just like no, the whole Europe, the young people now, they finish. They can't afford no house or nothing. I told you guys years ago that this turning housing, yeah, which is a necessity, into a business where motherfuckers are making profit, yeah, something that is a necessity became a profit. That's what happens. The prices are gonna rock because people are going to make profit on your necessity. You understand that? So once they start making profits, you can't afford it. The new generation can find no jobs. Because first off, they cannot even move to these cities where they can find jobs and rent a house and actually find a job and get married and do the whole religious stuff. They can't do that. They can't. You know what I'm saying? So they think then, government tells them it's the tourists, that is the immigration that is over the board. They're gonna give them a reason. They're gonna give them something to take on. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna be no truth. The truth is you got these investors, you got them turning the housing market, the house necessity, which everybody was supposed to is a necessity, yeah, is a human right that everybody should have a place to live, became a business. They turned it into a business. You got all these landlords, that are not producing nothing but are getting paid because out of your necessity. Because how do you get to depend on them? Because they don't let you build your own house. They don't let you do nothing on your own, and you have to always go to them. And they make these schemes and they make these programs, okay? And these programs entitle them to have these landlords that can own, one guy can own 10 properties. You know what I'm saying? Or the whole village can own the whole thing. It's a corporation. You know what I'm saying? But if you say, hold on, I'm young, I want to build my house, I need space to build my house, they ain't gonna let you. I'm gonna live the way I want, they ain't gonna let you. You know what I'm saying? Because you can say, look, I'm gonna make a caravan, I'm gonna live over there, I'm gonna work over there, I'm gonna save my money, I'm gonna do my life. They're not gonna let you. You have to be inside the can, inside the cube, because you're all religious. But that's what happens. Now, once this happening now, you got the market collapse because the prices are rocking with the whole pandemic on top of it. The whole lot of people lost jobs. Yeah, the prices continue to rock up after the pandemic. They rock the prices like there's no tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing. To make you what? have nothing, and be happy. They tell you the whole plan the whole way. I don't get what's wrong with these people. And they sit on YouTube, yeah, blaming each other, jumping in each other, blaming immigrants, yeah, like childs. And this is why these people can do anything they want on these people. And they are, you know, while they create all these mess, what I noticed, these dudes behind all of this, they are digging for gold. They are digging for gold. They have monopolies. They own the lands. They are digging their gold. They ain't gonna get hurt. It's the people they're gonna hurt and gonna be resetted. Let's go.
At the same time as home building slowed to a crawl, Spain's population has kept growing. For decades, the country has been suffering from what was once seen as a sign of success: immigration. Back in 1998, immigrants made up just 1.6% of the population. By 2022, that number had soared to nearly 20%, 8.6 million people. And in recent years, population growth has been driven almost entirely by migration. In 2023, migrants accounted for 90% of the country's total population increase. This influx is especially concentrated in major cities like Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia, where rising demand is pushing locals out of their own neighborhoods. But here's the real problem. Many of these newcomers aren't just looking for homes, they're looking for investment. With construction unable to keep up with new demand, Spain's property market looks like a gold mine. Wealthy foreigners see a growing population, booming tourism, and a housing shortage, and they see that prices can only go one way: up. This creates a self-fulfilling cycle, where housing is treated more as an investment than as a basic need. And in the end, it's ordinary Spaniards who are left struggling to find a place they can actually afford to live. In recent years, this has become more than just an issue of affordability. The housing crisis may be killing the country's future prospects. Spain has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the European Union, sitting at over 27% as of 2023, more than double the EU average. It's not because young people aren't looking for work. In fact, many are desperate to find opportunities. But there's a major roadblock standing in their way: housing. Most of the jobs, especially the ones for young professionals, are located in the country's major cities: Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia. But in these cities, housing has become completely unaffordable. An average studio apartment in Barcelona now costs upwards of €1,200 every month. With Spain's minimum wage set at €9.26, it would take a month's worth of work just to cover rent. And in theory, you graduate, move to a city, start your career, and build a life. But in Spain, that has become nearly impossible. So instead of moving to where the jobs are, they stay at home or leave the country entirely. And that's a huge problem. The future of any economy depends on young people entering the workforce, paying taxes, starting businesses, and spending money. And if they can't afford to live in the cities where the economic activity is happening, this simply never happens. The Spanish government is finally starting to act, realizing perhaps too late the scale of the crisis that they're in. One of the boldest moves has been a proposed 100% tax on property purchases by non-EU buyers. The idea behind this is simple: discourage foreigners from buying Spanish homes purely as an investment vehicle, freeing up those houses for ordinary people to move into. And in theory, this should bring prices back down. But there is a problem. For all the damage foreign investment has done, it's also one of the few things still motivating developers to build. If that money disappears overnight, it could remove the last remaining incentive to construct new housing, making supply even tighter. And yet, even if the plan does work, it may be too little too late. Years of inaction have brought the country to a breaking point. Tens of thousands of Spaniards are already being priced out, and young people are being locked out of the cities where they might have built their futures. And
now, put your hand in your head and think a little bit. How are you going to have somebody coming from outside your country? Yeah, you talk about billionaires, man. Yeah, to invest in your country, opportunities in your country, and this is what happens, because it ain't about you. It is about somebody who's got more money than you. It's not about your country. It's about somebody who can invest. It ain't about your people, it's about somebody who can afford it. So don't tell me that they didn't know that this is going to happen when they allowed them to do this. Because before you were not doing this. Yeah? And you're not going nowhere to invest. So where you gonna get a job if these dudes are investing here and the prices are rising because they're coming with their own economy to your little economy and you can compete with them. So it's gonna get the point of no return, which is now. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Yeah, sorry guys, I had to answer this phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm busy, but I'm trying to get you in, you know what I'm saying, on this truth. Yeah? Because these dudes, man, they let them invest on them. All these investors that came in and uh, they bought inflation and they bought lockdowns and inflation and all that, and their economy now it's finished. At least for young people, it's done. It's finished. Let's go.
Are being locked out of the cities where they might have built their futures, and the economic consequences are starting to pile up. Spain's current crisis is a result of years of short-term thinking, market speculation, and political inaction. What began as an economic boom has slowly turned into an affordability crisis. Recent proposals show that policymakers are starting to take this issue more seriously, but the scale of the problem is massive, and fixing it will take more than taxes and restrictions. It will require sustained investment, smarter urban planning, and policies that treat housing as a necessity and not just an asset. That kind of foresight is exactly what's happening now in an entirely different space, especially with metals like copper. Now, it may not sound connected, but copper is essential to modern life, and it powers homes, cities.
House cannot be treated as an asset. Yeah, what you do with copper, I'm not bothered.
Transport, and infrastructure. And just like housing in Spain, global supply hasn't kept up with demand. Now, the US government is treating copper not just as a resource, but as a strategic priority.
Copper is a critical material, and the supply of copper is vital to our national security.
Everyone needs new houses, and with demand surging and global mine production set to peak by 2026, the US is staring down a 700,000-ton copper deficit, which is why bold executive orders are being signed to boost domestic mining.
Tariffs will help rebuild back our American copper industry and strengthen our national defense, and they should be made in America.
Meanwhile, China, responsible for over 50% of global smelting, is facing mounting export issues. The world is hungry for copper, and America is finally acting. Giant Mining, ticker BFGFF, is the sponsor of today's video. Not only does it own and operate a copper-silver-gold project in Nevada, but it has also recorded its best ever drill intercepts in September 2024. The company is now the only copper company I'm profiling to you. On February 14th, Executive Order 14213 was issued and implicitly prioritizes copper as a critical resource. Nevada, where Giant Mining's copper project is situated, has constantly ranked amongst the top mining jurisdictions in the world, which is why I'm bringing this company to your attention. Giant Mining's balance sheet is now fully funded for its drilling programs in 2025, and they are well positioned to accelerate its exploration efforts and potentially capitalize on emerging copper market opportunities, which in my view is great news. The share price is down by 50% since early February due to market turmoil, so I'm highlighting the company to you today for a reason. Giant Mining owns the Majuba Hill copper project, which is a past-producing mine. And in the past 4 years, management and the company's geologists have actually expanded the copper deposit, and this past September, Giant Mining hit their best ever drill hole. Historic underground mines at the Majuba Hill project produced copper, tin, and silver from the early 1900s to the 1950s, including 2.8 million pounds of copper, 140,000 ounces of silver, 5,800 ounces of gold, and 21,000 pounds of tin. I will say this again. All of these factors, and the following ones below, are the ones that led to my significantly bullish opinion about Giant Mining. The infrastructure is ready. Do your homework on Giant Mining, ticker BFGFF.
People, it's amazing what's going on. Yeah. And Trump is mining now. He's mining copper. He's mining gold. He's mining. He's mining, man. He's mining metals. Hmm. The Indians. Mm-hmm. That's all, man. Continue talking crap on YouTube, okay? Because you know, don't worry about your life. Don't worry about reality. Don't worry about the truth. Don't speak the truth. Speak foolery. Continue. Okay? Because soon enough, you will be also, you're going to be in the streets. You're going to be with no house. You're going to be, your business that you love so much, but is not based in nothing real, is going to disappear. You're going to have to do what the people that said that you're supposed to have nothing and be happy have planned for you. Okay? So while you're in these days that you're supposed to be making moves, you're not making moves, soon you're not going to be able to make moves because there's going to be no room for you to move. Okay? You're going to have to go with the flow, and you're going to remember these days that, that you had time to move, but you sit on YouTube acting like children. Yeah? While men are there digging gold, are digging copper, are ruling the world. You sit on YouTube talking shit and then talk about the immigrants are your problem. Yeah? But if you can see what's going on, I just showed you. Okay? Where your gold is going, where your copper is going, and who's running it, and who's taking it, and and who's making your laws, and trying to control the whole entire world at the same time. The same dude. But you don't want to see it, man. Continue doing what you do. But I'm not going to be part of that. I'm not going to be part of something that is not truth. Okay? That's it, man. I love you all. Keep the instructions, man. Always be you. Always be real. Or else there is no reason for you to be here. If you're not going to be you, you're not supposed to be here. Okay? If you want to be, a slave, then you can be. You have free will, right? Let's go. That's it, man. I love you all. Keep the instructions. Peace.